morning guys, and welcome to day 6 of Vlogmas. We're officially halfway through, which I am relieved about because I'm getting tired. I won't lie, look at my eyes. But today my prayers have been answered. It is frosty, which I've been waiting for ages it seems, because I want to do a winter routines vlog just to show you some of the little tips I have for keeping your horses sort of happy and healthy during the winter, and I'll go through like a few of the things I do when I'm riding in the winter. But for now, I've got my prop that I need to go and use. Can anyone guess what this is for before I actually go and use it? Can you guess, Mum? But yeah, so today's video I'm working with NKC Equestrian Training. They actually sponsor me, so you guys have probably seen them on my channel and on my Instagram and stuff. But they specialise in running conferences and training days. So the lovely Nicola, she puts on all of these sort of educational days. I'm just flinging a colander around here. So I've been to one of the first aid courses, and that was amazing. She has a vet come and talk you through absolutely everything to do with keeping your horse happy and healthy. So like dealing with colic, dealing with wounds, dealing with eyes. Literally loads of stuff that I knew and loads of stuff that I either didn't know or I'd completely forgotten, as well as things that have just sort of changed over the years, like purple spray is no longer like recommended for horses, and obviously in my pony club days you used to sort of spray that on absolutely everything. So it's really interesting to kind of refresh your knowledge, and yeah, it just made me feel a lot more at ease being around the yard, because I feel like I could deal with problems if they unfortunately happened. Touch wood that they don't. But she also puts on dissection days and, like I said, the conferences. So there's loads on. But today, oh Mum, put your hat on. Showbiz, hey? Huh? Backstage. An elf! Today she's giving away a place on an online horse first aid course. The reason we've chosen an online one is because it means like we can give it away worldwide, because you get all the resources online. So, you know, is what it says on the tin. But it's sort of the same format as the ones where you, like the day courses. So you learn...
Santa for horses.
I can't actually take it. I'm talking about a really serious topic, and I've got an elf in the background. I can't concentrate. Yeah, it'll take you through everything that I've just mentioned. There's videos, there's like PowerPoints, there's audio things. So the idea is that you can just do it on the go. So you can be mucking out and you can have a audio tape on, and you can be learning how to prevent colic whilst you're mucking out. So really is a very good prize. But I'm going to talk about it in a minute, because we're going to discuss what we do in the winter when it's frosty with our little young ponies that mostly live out. So young ponies, that's the 29-year-old in the middle. Okay, so this is a bit of a military operation.
Take your life in your hands.
Explain what I'm doing in a minute.
Hello, little one. Hey, Winnie. Good girl. Hello. This is what you got. What have you got? Good girl. She says yes.
Always a blessing when I make it out of that situation alive. Managed another day.
Survived another day, that's good.
Yeah, with our youngsters, what we do whenever it's frosty, or even when it's just sort of cold and horrible and wet, but we make sure we put hay and a little bit of haylage out for them when the grass is frosty, because the grass has actually got a really high sugar content when it's frosty like this in the morning. Is that correct, Mum?
I believe so. I think when it's frosty it stores all the in
like the tips or something.
Yeah, all up in the grassy bits. Of
yeah.
course they're just eating, and a big sugar rush certainly wouldn't be any good for the old boy, would it? Might bring on laminitis.
Could, bring on like a winter laminitis, which a lot of people think they can't get laminitis in the winter, but they can. And also it's just good for the same sort of reason, because it's sugary. If you line their stomach with some sort of like bulky stuff, it's going to be less likely they get like ulcers from the acidity and sugar in the grass.
And it gives us an opportunity to check them all over.
Yeah, it gets them over. I mean,
everybody's got 4 legs and
yeah. And one last thing I will say is always put a pile out for everyone. If you've got particularly sort of bolshy horses that are going to chase each other away, put them further apart and put an extra pile so there's always one spare. Just reduces competition, less likely for them to get choked because they're not going to bolt their food. So yeah, just little things that are helpful for the winter. But now let's go and see what this colander's for. Come along, Hobbit. So the colander, when it's like really, really icy, I tend to use a fencing pole to break the troughs. But this is just to save your hands and get all the ice out. Can we have a close-up shot there, Mum? Oh, look. Oh, it's not really working. Still having to touch it.
If you'd have
break it more.
If you'd have broken it with a fence post.
But yeah, if you sort of remove all the ice, then it's less likely to freeze over as quick. Yeah. If it's super, super cold, we'll pour warm water in here just to make it nicer for them to drink. Because horses don't like cold water, then they don't drink, and then they get colic.
Not good. This actually needs filling up, but at the moment the hose is frozen.
Yeah, so that'll be a task for this afternoon. Hopefully it's defrosted.
But
look at that! Get pretty much all the ice out. Oh, my hands are warm, it's in my pocket.
Exciting.
It's to save your hands. I'm going to get this hay out as well. Oh, it's like spaghetti. It's like dinner last night.
Fancy dropping that in there. No. Was that you, Winnie?
We'll have to empty this actually.
Yes, we regularly empty it and scrub it out.
I'll be using that to strain my pasta. Right, there we go. First little job for winter done. Okay, so another thing that Santa does in these wintry months is we try and change their rugs as much as possible, the ones that are sort of coming in overnight. So they have their pyjamas on. This is sort of for a few reasons. A, it helps prevent them rubbing, you know, and horses get those horrible shoulder rubs. Not saying it will never happen, but it does sort of help if you change the rugs as much as possible. And for the ones that aren't in work especially, it just gives us a chance to sort of check them over, see if they've got a ribby or anything, see if they've managed to cut themselves under their rugs, because horses do manage that. Yeah, it's just nice for them, I think, to have like their outside jacket on and then nice cosy pyjamas.
And with Lara and Dee, often when they come in, we'll take it off as soon as they come in.
Oh yeah, they want a little scratch.
Yeah, 15 or 20 minutes without a rug on.
Stops them thrashing around and risking getting legs in straps because they know they're going to have it off.
Dee will often have a little roll, won't she? Yeah. And then she gets a little brush, so she likes that. Yeah. And has her pyjamas on. So it's just an opportunity to check that they're
happy, healthy ponies.
Yes, exactly.
You can go out in the field now.
She says, yes, please. And Jam's been a very good girl and eaten all of her hay and haylage, which is what we like to see before they go out on the frosty grass. Yes.
She looks so awkward. She's like, why are you filming this time in the morning?
Ours always have feeds twice a day, but I think when it's very frosty or snowy,
it's just a good way,
particularly important.
Because sometimes they won't eat the hay or the haylage that you give them because they know they're going out. So if they won't eat it, a feed's a really good way because they're normally.
At least you know they've got. Look, Jam's demonstrating eating her haylage.
Yeah, I'll just have a little bit more of that if you don't mind, guys.
Just make sure I really have got a proper buffer.
We've had to have a hat swap because Lara would not let Mum lead her with this elf hat on. So it's too weird. It's quite big. I don't know if you can tell how big it is, but yeah, it's quite a sizable hat. But just a quick one to say, the horses that are in overnight and then go out during the day, if it's frosted like this in the morning, we just keep them in a little bit longer and put a bit more hay in them for the same reasons as we've just mentioned, really. Just because they're going to go out and scoff a load of sugary grass.
Hay or haylage in there.
Yeah, sometimes if it's really bad, we'll take hay out just to give the grass a chance to thaw a bit before they gobble it all up. Yeah. You all right there, Santa?
Yep.
As if I've been demoted to an elf because of Lara. Shocking. So, as I mentioned, today's giveaway is with the lovely NKC Equestrian Training. They're giving away a place on the online first aid course, which is worth £99, guys. It's honestly got so many resources that you can use, so many videos with vets and audios and sort of slides and visuals to look at. So it was really, really great I'd certainly recommend. One thing that Nicola and I have actually been discussing, and we did discuss on our first aid course that I went to in July, was the importance of going through your first aid kit and sort of chucking things away that you don't need or you shouldn't have in there, like pseudocreme and purple spray, dare I say it. And also just updating it, like, have you got everything to hand? Is it all in date? Have you got clean scissors? Have you got a clean bucket? All of these things that in an emergency you'd need straight away, but we sort of put off doing that because, you know, day-to-day life, when things are going well, that's the last thing you're thinking about is a horse first aid kit. But yeah, I would certainly recommend using a bit of your winter time when perhaps you've got slightly less on, your horses are on a break, to go through your first aid kit and just make sure it's all in one place. So I keep mine right in the middle of the yard here in these drawers, and the bottom 2 drawers are literally just dedicated to all of my first aid things. However, I do need to get a pair of clean scissors for the first aid kit because I've realised that I only have my yard scissors. So if I'm cutting sort of bandage or animal index to put on a wound, obviously don't want to be using grubby yard scissors. So that is on my list of things to buy for my first aid kit. I'd certainly recommend updating your first aid kit, even if you don't win this prize. If you sign up to Nicola's emails, which I will link below her email address, she can send you loads of interesting emails about all sorts of things. She does often send sort of myth-busting ones, which I love. She sent one this summer about pseudocreme that I actually shared to my Instagram story because it was so interesting about why we should not be putting this on wounds and what sort of better things there are to put on. And so many people were really, really interested in it. So I'd really recommend signing up to those emails if you fancy getting some informative emails. Okay, I am back again. It's a little bit less frantic now because I've done the yard, done the morning horses, and it's now lunchtime. So that brings me to another task during the day. At the moment, we just have Ari and Jaffa in during the day. The big girls are currently stabled overnight and they go out during the day. And then the 2 young ponies and Ace mainly living out. They've got a big double field shelter. But if the weather's bad, they come in during the day with these guys. But since it's a dry day and the frost has cleared, they are, staying out today. But at the moment it is lunchtime, which is when I come and give these boys a little bit more hay. I'm really, really lucky being based on site, which means I can sort of come out as and when I need to and throw them a bit of hay. I just like being able to do that because it sort of prolongs their eating hours, which we all know is good for horses. They're meant to be eating like so many hours of the day. It's actually scary. So sort of the longer and slower you can make them eat, the better really, and it's sort of better for reducing the chance of colic and reducing the chance of ulcers. So yeah, it's nice to be able to come and sort of give them little bits of hay here and there, but obviously I know that's not a possibility for everyone. So I'll come out and do lunchtime checks around now. I'll also skip them out, which, Ari, it's a hat. It's a Santa hat. So you can see, you can't see his second poo there. Ari's done 2 poos now by lunchtime, so that's sort of what I would expect to be normal. So I'll skip him out now, but just sort of make a mental note that, he had the normal amount of poos. Obviously, that is something that's always worth doing, especially in the winter, but all year round, to be honest, because it can be such an early sign of if your horse has got something wrong. So if I came out and he hadn't done any poos by lunchtime, I'd be like, okay, this definitely isn't normal. And it could be an early sign of colic or just that he's not feeling right. So I'd really recommend making a note of that. So another thing for winter, like I've said, my girls are really lucky. They get to go out during the day, so they have all that space to sort of move around in and stretch their legs. But I know that a lot of people, if they're at livery yards or if the land won't take having horses on in the winter, it's not always an option to be able to put your horses out for like a few hours during the day. So if you're in that situation, or if you just want to sort of increase your chances of your horses being happy and reducing illness or any health ailments, I'd really recommend just trying to do sort of a bit of gentle exercise with them. So whether you have a walker or an arena you could perhaps turn them out in, or even if you're just hand grazing them or hand walking them or obviously riding them, the more you can sort of keep them moving and exercising gently, the better really, because otherwise they do just get a bit sort of seized up and yeah, bored if they're just constantly in, and then that obviously leads to issues with horses. So yeah, I'd certainly recommend if you're perhaps at a livery yard and maybe there's a rule that from, you know, a certain date you can't turn out, that certainly the day that changes, really think about increasing their exercise, prolonging their eating hours, just so it's not a massive change. Horses absolutely hate changes of routine. So yeah, that's another thing I would say for winter routines. Look how misty it is. Right, it is sort of getting in time. Mum and I are going to take Jam and Bear on a little ride. There she is, just trying to get up the old muck heap, bless her. Right, Albert? Aren't you forgetting something? You got the wrong hat on.
I can't ride out in that.
Silly sausage.
Hey!
That's better. Looking divine.
Thank you.
Have you got any winter tips for the muck heap? That's the one Mum sorted out. That's one that's not been sorted out. Oh, go on, what's your tip, Mum? Show us.
Okay, you sure?
Yep.
Don't laugh, okay? Nobody's to laugh. I need... You're already laughing.
I'm not. I'm laughing
Right,
at your hat.
So, the tip is, you have to get it even.
So during the winter, obviously, if you've got them in overnight, there's a lot
It's in the
more.
winter. It's all
No,
right.
but there's a lot more poop, isn't there? If they're in at night.
And then it's like treading grapes, but it's really good for your fitness.
So in ancient Italy, they obviously make wine like this.
They do.
We make poo juice. You can see some down there. And at the end of every day, we just scoop that up and have it with our meal.
And it's very good. It keeps you really fit and skinny, just like me.
Mum is actually thinking of starting a Pilates class doing this. So
Anyone wants to come and join me?
comment below if you'd be interested in Hobbit's
Now, another
Pilates
thing,
class.
There's another part of my keep challenge.
Okay. Oh, this is back breaking.
It needs the edges.
Oh, I could do this actually. Just stand here, film you do this.
Usually, this would be level.
Yeah, but we had a disaster, didn't
We
we?
had disaster.
The guy came to take it away and thought, nah, sod that. So he just dumped it.
It's taken a lot to sort out. Took me an hour to sort this one out.
Mum loves her poo though. Anyway, we've been filming poo for 2 minutes.
And then, more stamping.
We could do a whole vlog on this if people would like to see that. Oh, the ponies have come to see the fiasco. What is going on?
I like it. I talked to them. Hiya.
I'm like, God, I didn't realise you were poo stamping. Didn't realise it was that time of day already. Oh, they look really nice in the mist. Right, should we go and ride, Hobbs?
Oh, Teddy! Oh, God. Here comes Ted.
Teddy bear, my darling! We always catch them with a treat. Today they're having a carrot. Obviously cut lengthways, guys. Never cut your carrots in circles. That's not a winter tip, that is just owning a horse tip. Something I get asked about a lot is mud fever. We, touch wood, have been quite sort of lucky here. We're a bit muddy, but not like horrendous. But yeah, we tend not to wash our ponies' legs off because unless you dry them properly, it actually increases your chances of getting mud fever. It's different if you've got mud fever, I believe. But yeah, so we tend not to wash them off, and we don't use prickly brushes if we do, because that can give them little cuts and then end up encouraging mud fever. So yeah, we tend to let them just dry naturally and then brush all the mud off. That way we can check if they have got any cuts or any inflammation like that. Good girl. But another tip is to feed linseed. You can just buy normal linseed and boil it, or you can get, what is it, micronized?
Micronized linseed.
So that's really good for skin and sort of reduces mud fever. But I tend to not clip my horse's legs past like October time, because then again the hair works as a barrier. So another winter tip for you guys. So as I said, Mum and I are about to go on a nice hack, but she wanted me to ride Bear for 20 minutes first because Bear's been a bit frisky and she had the day off yesterday, so Mum didn't want to get on her first. So I'm just gonna whiz her around here for a bit. But that brings me on to one of my winter points, but also just a point in general for horses. I've been doing a lot of reading recently about the importance of walking before you warm them up. Obviously everyone does that, but I think we're all a bit guilty of literally just walking like one lap of the school and then getting going. But a lot of the research that's being done is saying that horses should walk for at least 10 minutes before you even pick them up into trot, especially if they've just come in to, like, you know, if they've just come into the school from being in the stable. Obviously if they've been out in the field it's slightly different because they'll have done their own sort of walking round. But it's just something I found really interesting about. It's so important to warm their muscles up correctly and sort of reduces the risk of injury if you walk them for 10 minutes or even more if you can, if you've got the time. So that's been something that I've been trying to do as much as possible recently. If you've watched my exercises for young horses vlog, you'll see some exercises in walk. So what I do is I walk a few laps and then I start doing those walk exercises just to make it feel a little bit more productive and a bit less boring. But yeah, something I would definitely recommend, especially in winter, because their muscles get so cold and you can really risk doing some damage if you sort of get on and walk, trot, canter within the first 10 minutes of being on the horse. So that's my next tip. So I walk Bear around, give her a little trot and a canter, and then let Mum get on board. Out on our hack. Is Bear sufficiently worn out or not? So is Bear, you can wear her out as much as you like, but yeah, she's gonna jump. Now Jam's spooking. But yeah, one thing to say, I mean, this is especially relevant in the winter, but all year round really, is to wear high vis. So you see, Mum has her jacket, hat silk and gloves on. Then I've got my Shire's gilet, which is reversible. I do look like the Michelin man at the moment because I've got a coat and a gilet on, but do you know what? I don't care. And then Jam has an exercise sheet on just to keep her loins warm and to stay seen. But yeah, especially in the winter when there's like a lot of the day, there's very low lying light, which makes it really hard to see. So please just wear high vis, guys. Just even if it's just one item of high vis, it makes such a difference. Okay, just getting the big girls in from their day in the field. One other tip for winter is to think about your rugging. So many people over-rug their horses so much, which we actually discussed in the NKC conference the other day. So there are some clips about that in one of my other videos. But you'll see Lara here, who's got a bit of cod blood in her. She's Irish, she's not been clipped recently. She just has a rug like that without a neck for this time of year when it's dry and she's not doing any work. So yeah, just have a think about what you actually need to put on your horse over the winter, because overheating is a lot worse for them than being cold. But if you go on the NKC website or sign up to the emails, you can get loads and loads of information and help with how you should be rugging your horse and like what you need for what time of year, and whether they're clipped or not, and like obviously take their breed into account. So yeah, they're really helpful resources that you can use. Okay, so another winter tip is if you're worried that your horse isn't drinking enough, obviously you should be monitoring their drinking as much as possible, which is why buckets are a lot better than water drinkers if you can use them. A few of you know that Bear can't have a bucket because she kicks it over. People have said, they've commented on that other vlog about me using a tyre. I've tried that so many times. It's not because she accidentally knocks it over, she obliterates it because she thinks she's hungry. So thanks for the comment, but yeah, tyre doesn't work. Anything in Bear's stable she destroys because she thinks she's hungry. Anyway, moving on. So yeah, water buckets are much better because you can monitor how much they're drinking. If you're worried your horse isn't drinking enough, it could be because the water's too cold. They don't really like drinking cold water. So a tip is to add a kettle's worth of water to their bucket. It will just make it a lot nicer for them to drink. Obviously, like, check it's not too hot, dip your finger in or whatever. But yeah, sort of lukewarm water, they'll be much more likely to drink if you're struggling. But I have got some hot water from the outside tap here, but it's not actually for that. It's for my final winter tip now, which I'm about to show you guys, but I have to carry this around quickly first. Rug changeover time for Dee Dee, but she's having a bit of naked time and she's had a nice roll. So you enjoy that, Dee Dee, don't you? So she literally every day she comes in and has a little roll. That's her routine.
And she has a little brush.
Yes, she wants an itch. She's such a princess. She's like, why are you filming me? Good girl. Oh,
Good
they've
girl.
not seen you on the vlog looking like this, have they, Dee? Not very impressive. Very fat and hairy. But Mum is going to have a quick talk to you about feet. One thing we always do is pick out their feet before they go to bed. Just gives you a chance to look for abscesses and also...
Mud fever?
Yeah, mud fever as well. Sort of reduces your chance of getting abscesses or thrush or anything horrible like that, because you can clean them and get them drier quicker. So, Mum, can you explain why there's not a shoe on there? This is Mum's favourite winter tip.
My favourite winter tip is take their shoes off. If you're not doing much work for 3 or 4 months over the winter, get your farrier to take their shoes off.
Well, we always give ours a break, don't we? So they always have
do.
their shoes off for their break.
We do. Dee had hers off after her last event.
Yeah.
And then we walked her out gently for a few weeks, which she coped really well with. And now, of course, she's had nearly 6 weeks off now, hasn't she?
And even coming back into work,
Yeah.
she'll do a bit with no shoes.
She'll probably do the first 4 weeks walking, won't she? Without
So,
them.
as much as I like this tip because it's cheap, what's the health reason behind it, Mum?
I feel it's really good, really beneficial for their feet. It lets all the holes, nail holes
Grow out, yeah.
And I think it just sort of allows them to
Strengthen up a
rebalance
bit,
and
yeah,
strengthen. Yeah.
Yeah, because as amazing as shoes are for horses' feet, they're not natural for horses' feet. So
They're
it gives
not.
them a rest if they're not doing much. Obviously, if your horses are in full-time work and they can't cope, you can't do
If
it.
you're hunting
Yeah,
twice a week or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you're having a bit of downtime and you can do it, I think it's very beneficial.
just lets them breathe a bit, Dee Dee, doesn't it?
I personally would love to have them barefoot, but it's not practical if you're trying to
No.
event.
There is a lot of research to suggest, barefoot is very, very good for horses' sort of health and lameness-wise.
She did event up to 100,
Yeah, barefoot,
Barefoot,
that's a
didn't
true
she?
story, isn't it, Dee Dee?
so it is doable. But
Less talky, more scratchy. So, Mum, how could these lovely people win the chance to be on this online
Well,
first aid course then?
I think they should comment their favourite winter tip.
That they've seen in this video?
And personally, my favourite winter tip is mine. But it doesn't have to be mine. Any winter tip, comment below.
Yep, so
And,
if you've watched the video, guys, all you have to do is comment one of the tips you've seen in this video. There's been many. Follow myself and NKC Equestrian. We'll both be tagged in the description. And that will be an entry for you to win a place on the online first aid course, where there is a plethora of information at your disposal to learn all about keeping your horse happy, healthy and sound, which is what we all want. Also, can we all just admire the big word I just used? Can't spell that, but it sounds cool. Dee's trying to get treats. Dee's doing a carrot stretch whilst Mum picks her feet out. Okay, so another tip on the lines of getting liquids into them. I've already spoken about adding warm water to your feed. Also, in my previous vlog, I spoke about using sort of sugar beet or some form of mash that you soak to get more liquids into your horses, because it just helps for reducing the risk of winter colic and ulcers. Mum's trying to mouth something at me. What is it,
I was
Mum?
going to say, in very cold weather, sometimes we add warm water to their drinking water.
Literally the first thing I said.
You didn't.
I said about adding warm water to their water.
You said.
Oh, well, I'd said that out there. Anyway, stop it! Make me look silly.
You are silly.
Well, I'd said about that, guys. You heard me say about adding warm water to their water. God, Mum. Anyway, now we are going to the last resort thing you can do. If you really cannot get your horse to drink, you can try apple bobbing, which is fun, and they absolutely love it. So, yeah, we just do it for fun, really. But if it can be done for, medical reasons.
Well,
I wouldn't quote that.
you could use it at competition if you,
Yeah,
your horse
yeah.
doesn't drink in the summer.
So what we're going to do, we've got some apples here from our local feed store. Other feed stores are available. We're going to cut them in half, just because you'll see they're kind of an awkward size. They're quite small, so. Bear!
There says,
She
get on with
threw
it.
that on the floor.
I want to do mine first.
But yeah, so just to try and reduce any chances of choke or anything horrible like that.
Quarters.
No, because they don't float as well, and then it's too easy for them to pick up. So halves, I've found, personally, is the best. And then we've got some tepid, lukewarm water here. That's like half or 3/4 of a hand's depth.
Oh, they do still float.
See? Floaty, floaty. Just see how the horses do it. Like, some of mine are better at it than others, so sometimes they need deeper water. But the idea is they try and get the apple and they sort of gulp a bit of water as we go. But let's try. So we've got Lara, but Lara is scared of Mum in that hat. She's like, oh, I want to play apple bobbing, but I don't like the hat.
Good girl. Come on.
Right, donk, donk.
Good girl. Good girl.
Well done, donk.
Good girl.
Sometimes it does take them a while to get the gist, guys. And there's all the water that she should have drunk. All over our stable.
Good girl.
See, she is drinking, yeah.
Good girl. You good girl.
Well done, Cobb. There's one left in there. Ooh.
Got it.
That's how it's done, Cobb.
Good girl.
Right, who's up next?
Well done.
The next pony playing the 2019 apple bobbing tournament. It's the Winter Championships. Jam. Yeah, just give it here.
Look. Come on. Hey, good girl.
She's like, why don't you just give it to me?
Good girl.
Good girl.
It's a good girl. Oh, Jammy, is that tricky? Good guppies, well done. Good girl.
It's just that is a lot more effort than it's worth for half a piece of apple.
Good girl.
Oh, good drink. Oh. The warm water definitely helps, doesn't it?
Yeah,
They much
it
prefer
does.
warm water. And I suppose it's appley now, so... God, she's really having a drink. Just to show you guys, she has got a bucket of water there, but
That's
she's...
horrible cold water.
Yeah, chosen the warm water. She's given up with the game altogether.
They want warm water every day now.
Yeah. Says, this is delicious. Apple-infused tea. That's it, Jan. We're not on a time schedule or anything. Long vlog can be as long as you want it to be, hun. You take your time. I think she's drinking all the water so she can pick the apples out. That's her tactic.
This bed is going to be so wet in the morning.
Oh, God, yeah.
Oh, she's got another piece.
Well done. You gonna get your last bit?
Good girl.
Just the jealousy over here of Dee. Good girl, Jam.
Well done.
Well, Jam, you are the perfect model because it did exactly what it was supposed to do. So here's Teddy Bear having a good drink, trying to get the apple. You are making a meal out of that, Bear Bear. Ooh, having a drink. She says, did you just spit at me? Ugh. She says, get those apples out of there. Oh, she got one. God, she used this like alligator shaking technique. That was scary. But yeah, another good thing about this actually that I didn't mention is it's quite a good boredom breaker for them. So if your horses are in a lot, it's quite a good sort of entertainment game for them. Oh my God, Bear! Now do you guys believe me that she knocked her water bucket over? So, classic Princess Dee has decided she's not going to play apple bobbing today because she's too much of a diva and she wants to have her own special game. So another thing that we do a bit in the winter when they're in so much and they can get bored is cut up lots of these little things. That is why Dee is trying to bite my hand off. And then with their hay that they have on the floor, just mix them. Dee, they're not in my hand anymore. Mix them through like that. And it's just sort of like a little foraging game for them. So you can then see Dee goes off looking for them. It just keeps them a little bit busier and a bit entertained. But yeah, those are a selection of my winter tips. By all means, they're not all of them. I could literally go on for hours with little things we do during the winter. I've probably missed out some obvious ones, but Oh well,
next year.
same for next year. Yeah, exactly. Those are a selection of tips that we use, and they're really great for keeping the horses happy and healthy over the winter. If you're interested in having your horses as happy and healthy as possible, then I highly suggest that you get in touch with Nicola from NKC. Wherever you are in the world, you can sign up to her emailing list, and you can also purchase a ticket or a space on the online horse first aid course as well. Of course, if you're based in the UK, you can also go to the conferences, the special days she does, like the dissection days, or the day courses, which is what I went on in July, and it was really fantastic. I got my own first aid course certificate and I learned absolutely loads, so I would strongly recommend doing that. If you're interested in purchasing any of these, maybe for yourself or for a last minute Christmas present for someone, you can use the code XMAS10 at the moment, I believe, to get 10% off absolutely everything. So I think that is valid for 24 hours, so get tapping quickly. Otherwise, keep an eye out on my page in the new year, because I should have some other discount codes for you. But thank you for watching. You can do a little elf dance. Wow, didn't actually think she was going to do that. That's embarrassing. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you tomorrow for day 7 of Vlogmas. I'm looking like Rudolph. I think I'm getting ill. It's all this stress. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Go and enter on the giveaway, which is on my Instagram. See you tomorrow. Bye.